Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today in deck number 755, we continue our D&D adventure with Iymrith, the Desert Doom. So for 5 mana, we get a 5/5 flyer, which is a better rate than blue normally gets. Has Ward 4 as long as it's untapped. When Iymrith deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Then if you have fewer than 3 cards in hand, you draw cards equal to the difference. So, big blue dragon that's on rate, has ward as long as it's untapped. In hindsight, I probably should have put something in to give it vigilance. Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited about a legendary blue dragon. So I did mono blue tribal dragons. Now there is some that I'm missing, the Kiga, the Mist Dragon, a few of those. But the problem with mono blue dragons is they tend to be a little on the expensive side. So let's go through our ramp, shall we? We have Soul Ring, Wayfarer's Bauble, Mind Stone, Guardian Idol. Gotta have that high tide. I mean, we've only got 6 non-basic lands, so most of them are going to be islands. Star Compass, Silver Mirror, Sky Diamond. I like the Letter of Acceptance, assuming we could, of course, read it, because you can sack it to draw a card. Darksteel Ingot. Heraldic Banner is also nice, because you get a blue mana, and it's kind of an anthem for your team. Perfect for single-color decks. Paladin Mirror. Unstable Obelisk can double late game as some removal. Urgolem's Eye, Pristine Talisman, Everflowing Chalice, and Dreamstone Hedron also doubling as the card draw. So let's look at our dragon, shall we? Of course, we have the blue dragon. 7 mana 5/5, not quite as... But it does have a very unique ability, the Lightning Breath. I like that because it represents it going through the first target to the second target, through it to the third, getting weaker as it goes. That's kind of neat. Clockwork Dragon. I love the 3 mana colon put a counter on it. It comes stock with 6 counters, but with enough mana, we can make it a pretty big dragon. Steel Hellkite. It's good removal. It's a decent dragon. The Bell Toll Dragon. Now, the further back we go, besides Kiga was amazing. The blue dragons tend to be a little more, but I do like the Bell Toll Dragon because it really encourages you to morph it. You put a +1/+1 counter on each other dragon you control, so that's kind of what we want to be doing. Sign of Ugin is just a generic, colorless, hey, it's a dragon. Mind Scour Dragon from Fate Reforged. Yeah, just mills 4, okay. Icefall Regent. 5 mana 4/3, not that bad. Effectively, I guess this would be almost Ward 2. It does just spells, not effects. Phantasmal Dragon. Dragon Turtle. Thank you, Mr. Danny, for donating the Dragon Turtle here. The Hinge Guardian, which is an artifact creature dragon worm now. It's both a dragon and a worm. 5 mana for 3/4, and then our last dragon. I know that's not enough, but Shimmer Dragon. And Shimmer Dragon, I didn't have as much artifact ramp when I made the decision to put Shimmer Dragon in, and I saw Shimmer Dragon, and that's what made me go back and grab all that other seemingly useless ramp, because now, you tap 2 of them to draw a card. I love the Shimmer Dragon. As I said, I am a little light on dragons. I am running a non-dragon flyer just because the Wind Reader Sphinx. Whenever a creature with flying attacks, you get to draw a card. So that's pretty neat. Now, a few of my dragons don't fly. we're going to make sure that they do with Archetype of Imagination. That way, you know, this card just makes your team unblockable. I mean, it really does. So, we got quite a bit of card draw here. You know, Muldrifter, another one that's pretty decent. Winged Words, Ponder, Fortune's Favor, Rush of Knowledge. I figure since we've got the big mana cost dragons, we might as well be drawing some cards for it, right? Hindsight, maybe I should have put in a Reliquary Tower. Factor Fiction, Windfall, and Diviner's Portent. I love what these cards represent. You know, you roll a d20 and add the number of cards in your hand, and then the result is what you do here. That represents your modifier in D&D, and I think that's really kind of cool. A couple ways to protect our commander, you know, with Swiftfoot Boots and Whisper Silk Cloak, because, I mean, why not? It's unblockable. And Shroud. Gosh, what a card. Running Favorable Winds seemed like a good thing. It's not exactly flying tribal, but it kind of is. I mean, just by default. Oh, I forgot the diplomatic immunity for the protection thing. Frozen Ether, there again, it's just a, you're not, you know, it totally blanks haste on your opponent's creature. So if they've got that, you know, super big, hasty, whatever, maybe it's their commander, maybe it's not. No, it just enters the battlefield tapped. And even their basic lands, artifacts, yeah. It slows your opponents down a full turn, which can be helpful. Monastery Siege. I like the flavor here, especially the dragon's flavor. Spells your opponent's cast that target you or permanent you control costs 2 more to cast. I mean, it's right on par with what Iymrith is trying to do, right? I've got Narset. Yes, there's a Windfall in here, and there's a Narset. If it happens, it happens. My experience with Planeswalkers in Commander is not as oppressive as what I think everybody else's is. Our particular play group, if somebody plays a Planeswalker, it dies. Always. It's just, I mean, because like I said, we normally play rather large games, and by the time, if everybody hits it once, you know, you gotta, in my mind, you've gotta have, especially this one, everybody's really going to hit this one, but you've got to have some degree of protection out there, or the ability to flood 3 or 4 Planeswalkers at the same time, so that, you know, one of them live. But I promise you, Narset won't be the one that lives. So, we've got removal. Now, this is a lot. We have, I consider redirect removal, because most of the time what you're going to do, or in my experience, is we're going to point that spot removal to something else. You know, no, you're going to mortify your own thing. River's Rebuke. We all kind of wish it was a sorcery, but hey. Introduction to Annihilation. Now, this is in white or black or red even. This is probably not necessary, but I love the fact that it exists so that we can have it in blue. Even green's got more removal than blue, but you get to exile that permanent that you couldn't counter for whatever reason, and then you know they get to draw a card. Sleep. Sleep just wins games. I'm telling you, it just does. Steal Artifact. There's no better removal than stealing it for your own. Engulf the Shore, of course. You know, we're probably going to have a lot of islands. Imprison in the Moon, one of the better blue removal spells, because it's in play and useless. It's hard to get rid of a land, one of your own lands. You have to be, you know, specifically doing that thing. And if that's the case, then they're probably not choosing you as a target for Imprison. So, turns it into a colorless land, so it doesn't put it back into the command zone. Yeah, really, really like it. Glad they reprinted it in the commander decks for this set. Psychic Impetus. Foil. Let's go ahead and get the counters out of the way, shall we? Foil, negate, extinguish. I love the art, that's why. Counterspell. The Simone Biles artwork, of course. Ovenize, unsubstantiate, insidious will. And let's talk about Disruption Aura for a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't see a lot of play. I think this may be the first time I've ever registered it in a deck. Enchanted Artifact has, at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice this artifact unless you pay its mana cost. Folks, this is how we deal with Darksteel Forge and Blightsteel Colossus, because most of the time those are getting cheated out anyway, right? Yeah, indestructible things. And maybe something else, you know. So that brings us to our non-basics. A few cycling lands with the Lonely Sandbar and the Remote Isle. Gotta have that Rogue's Passage, y'all know that. Darksteel Citadel, I put that in there. I don't have, well, I mean, I couldn't get my fingers on a Seat of Cyanide at the moment, but there's no real Metalcraft, but it does help the Shimmer Dragon with the tapping 2 artifacts. Temple of the False God, and our last card is Mystic Sanctuary, because this card is bananas in mono blue. I mean, it really, really is. So that's what Iymrith. Like I said, I would have loved to have had more dragons. And I even put it in the blue dragon sleeve. Not that I planned, I just had the sleeves. And I was like, oh, hey, this will work. So let's go put this up on the wall. I moved my chair out of the way. 7:55 is done. This is one of my Father's Day shirts that the kids got me. It's kind of accurate. I do appreciate y'all watching, and thank you so much. But I think right now we're going to go ahead. Got a lot of filming to do today, so we're going to go ahead and shuffle.